Sri Lanka is no longer a bankrupt nation. That's what the president had to say after securing a $3 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund after nearly 1 year of negotiations. The financial aid will help boost the country's reserves as they face the worst economic crisis since independence. Russia's invasion of Ukraine and soaring inflation has exacerbated years of government mismanagement and policy errors. Now there's a lifeline, but with conditions. Let's get more on this with Archana Shukla, our India business correspondent, joining us live from Colombo. Archana, what are those conditions then?
Well, the biggest condition is that the government boost their revenue collection mechanism, which means the revenues for the government has to be boosted so that there are enough reserves with the government to import essentials. It's an import-dependent country, and hence these revenues and these reserves are very important. And for that, tough austerity measures like raising taxes, cutting subsidies on fuel and electricity are some of the immediate ones that the government has already stepped ahead with. The other big condition is to get all the foreign as well as the bilateral as well as the private creditors to come on the same table and discuss restructuring of this massive $50 billion loan book that Sri Lanka has, on which it defaulted last year and was then termed bankrupt. Now that loans are coming in, Sri Lanka is looking forward to raising fresh funds from other bilateral and other multilateral organizations like the World Bank and ADB as well, and get more funds in. But large, public sector units have to be restructured. They are very massive. They have to be made lean. And also, policies to deal with corruption within the political and the government system are some of the conditions that IMF has put.
Archana, what will this bailout mean for ordinary Sri Lankan people?
Over the last 1 year, a lot of business activity and economic activity that affects one, businesses, and two, regular people was stalled. And the money coming in will actually push some bit of that on the track. So with better reserves, the government will be able to import essentials. A lot of import restrictions that are currently on will be slowly released, which means shortages would be eased on the ground, which was one of the bigger reasons why we saw a soaring cost of living in Sri Lanka. Even now, the inflation is at 50%. So everything from your milk and eggs to clothes or even footwear you buy is extremely expensive. So some of the cost pressures there will ease and prices will come down. Businesses will find it easier to borrow money because there'll be reserves with the central bank. So interest rates can, once inflation comes down, interest rates can also be brought down, and that will make it easier for businesses to borrow and then go ahead with their operations. With all of this, while there are tax hikes and subsidy cuts that have made things even expensive right now, so life is not becoming simpler and easier just on day one of IMF loan. It will take a couple of months for things to get better.
Archana, thank you very much. Archana Shukla there in Colombo.